Here we go then, welcome along everybody on this Speed Saturday here at Silverstone, the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship, and today where we give birth to a new qualifying format. We had the traditional qualifying on a Friday evening, Lewis Hamilton taking the fastest time in Q3. This afternoon it's the race for pole, and it is a race for pole over 17 laps. Welcome to the sprint, the first of 3 trial sprint events due to take place in this 2021 season. The F1 sprint around this 3.66 mile circuit where the fans have been allowed to flock through the gates, and 110,000 are cramming into the grandstands of the banks on this Saturday afternoon. Silverstone looks absolutely splendid. It's a lap that you have at full throttle for 72% of your lap time, 81% of the distance. It's a lap that has 2 DRS zones to promote some overtaking over the 17 laps that we're going to race this afternoon, a maximum of 100 kilometers during this sprint format. We have a point system for the top 3. The first driver gets 3 points, second 2 points, third 1 point, and the first driver gets pole for the grid on Sunday for the Grand Prix over 52 laps, the British Grand Prix and the 72nd World Championship British Grand Prix. So the front row then for the first ever sprint race in Formula One will contain a familiar sight: Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen alongside each other. Twice already this season from a standing start, Max Verstappen has passed Lewis Hamilton into turn 1. Hamilton quickest in Q3 yesterday for the first time since Spain. Hamilton going for a record equaling 8th pole position here at Silverstone. Verstappen alongside him. Valtteri Bottas starts third alongside Charles Leclerc, his best Q3 since Monaco and Baku. It's Lando Norris in 6th, and ahead of him Sergio Perez in 5th. Daniel Ricciardo 7th for McLaren. George Russell starts 8th for Williams, another Q3 appearance for him, and ahead of Carlos Sainz for Ferrari and Sebastian Vettel, former Ferrari driver, in 10th. Fernando Alonso starts 11th, Pierre Gasly 12th for Alpha Tauri. Esteban Ocon starts 13th. He didn't get knocked out in Q1 after he had done in the last 2 races. Then we have Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda 15th and 16th. Behind these come Kimi Raikkonen and Nicholas Latifi. It's the Haas drivers of Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin who make up the row 10 and the back row for a voyage into the unknown. Who knows what's going to happen over the 17 laps? Martin Brundle alongside me has hot-footed it from the grid, and when I say hot-footed, that's probably hot-faced. I've seen that in the past as well. Let's hope it doesn't affect him as we head down towards Abbey then. 5 lights are on. For the sprint, it's lights out and away we go, and I think Verstappen got a better start than Lewis Hamilton, and he's already ahead. Valtteri Bottas is trying to pressure his teammate as well. And at the back, there's a spinner, and I think it's Nikita Mazepin.
For the 3rd time this year, Max Verstappen has out-dragged Hamilton down to the first corner. Now he's trying to break the slipstream into Brooklands corner. Hamilton will not get around the outside there because it's too tight. The corner tightens on you.
This is the incident between George Russell and Carlos Sainz. This is Nikita Mazepin. Oh, tangled with his teammate Mick Schumacher, and that's what sent him into a spin. Into Maggots and then Beckett's, and then as they have to weave because the corners go right and left, he just loses
it. Perez is round.
Perez is
That's
spinning.
going in the wall.
Sergio Perez off. Lando Norris is ahead of Fernando Alonso. We saw him closing and he managed to make the move. So he is now up to 5th, so making 1 place from his initial grid spot in this sprint on the Saturday afternoon.
It started like a race. It certainly carried on like a race for the first few corners, and then they'll wave a funny little black and white flag and it'll be the end of it, and that is a lovely move. from Daniel Ricciardo.
Down the old pit straight we go, and towards Cops, where Fernando Alonso's had some brilliant battles over the years, and he's going to try another one in 2021. And Daniel Ricciardo just keeps ahead of Fernando Alonso. Sprint on this Saturday goes to Max Verstappen for the 4th race in a row in 2021. Verstappen's going to be on pole. He sprints home to take the sprint on this Saturday. Red Bull with the victory and 3 championship points for the championship leader. Hamilton second, Bottas comes home third. Charles Leclerc for the 4th race this season will start 4th on the grid, and Lando Norris will come home to take 5th. Meanwhile, George Russell still ahead then of Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz still ahead of Pierre Gasly. It's Alonso from 11th on this grid to 7th on the grid for the Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel will start 8th ahead of Russell, and then Ocon, Sainz, and then Gasly. Kimi Räikkönen making up places to start 13th for the Grand Prix ahead of Stroll and Giovinazzi, Tsunoda, Latifi, Schumacher, Mazepin, and Perez with a DNF to his name.
You could see it was very close again between Lewis and me. We were pushing each other hard in the beginning of the race, and I expect it to be the same tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow we run on full tank, and the cars will feel a little bit different.
It's been incredibly positive to step forward. We got pole yesterday, so super proud of my team and of the guys. I think it's yeah, we've got to keep pushing. We got to take another step somehow in order to really take the fight to them in the race. But I'll give it everything tomorrow.
It was quite busy at the beginning, but then it was actually quite lonely for me, but lonely in a positive way. We managed to stay very close to Bottas in front, more or less the same pace, which is something that surprised us a little bit. So it's looking good for tomorrow.
I think we were decent relative to the others, and started 7th today, start 6th tomorrow, so it's a little victory. And I'll try and aim for a top 5 tomorrow. Apparently I haven't got one this year, top 5. So I think 6 is my best result. So that's kind of sad. So try and break through the top 5.
Last thing you want to do is crash with your teammate. Unfortunately, we had contact. Again, I haven't really seen much of it. I have to see it on the outboard to see what really happened. But yeah, unfortunately that we had damage from it too, which meant that we were on top of our lack of pace already suffering a bit more due to that.
I was on the outside, which then went into the inside from turn 2 to turn 3. Locked up going in, and just obviously had to avoid my teammate.